Russia breaking news: despite Moscow's warnings, Russian naval forces continue their assaults on Ukrainian ports. After Moscow warned that ships heading to Ukraine's Black Sea ports could be considered military targets, Russian military aircraft reportedly continued striking Ukrainian port areas on Thursday, according to local authorities. Some 20 people were injured in the strikes, according to authorities in the Mykolaiv and Odessa regions, as fears grew that Russia would abandon a deal protecting global shipments of Ukrainian grain. Ukraine announced on Wednesday that it had established a temporary shipping route via Romania, a neighboring Black Sea country, in response to Russia's withdrawal from the agreement, which threatened to worsen global food supplies. According to Ukraine's acting Minister for Communities, Territories, and Infrastructure Development Vasyl Shkurakov's letter to the United Nations International Shipping Organization, its goal is to facilitate the unblocking of international shipping in the northwestern part of the Black Sea. Both Ukraine and Russia are major grain exporters internationally. Wednesday's 8.5% increase in U.S. wheat futures was the largest single-day percentage increase since the days following Russia's invasion of its neighbor on February 24, 2022. According to Russia's Ministry of Defense, any country whose ships visit Ukrainian ports will be considered to be taking part in the conflict on the side of Ukraine. The Russian terror that Zelensky so strongly condemns. Russia launched an attack on the Odessa region on Monday and Tuesday after the last Black Sea grain initiative ship left Ukraine on Sunday. Under the terms of the grain deal, only the 3 ports in the area could legally ship grain out of Ukraine. Ukrainian officials reported that on Tuesday night, damage was done to grain terminals, an industrial facility, warehouses, shopping malls, residential and administrative buildings, and vehicles. The Ukrainian military's Southern Command claimed that Russia had attacked Odessa's port facilities with supersonic Kh-22 missiles, which were designed to destroy aircraft carriers. In the ports that were attacked, there was about 1 million tons of food stored, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said in his Wednesday night address. That's the sum that was supposed to have arrived in consumer countries in Asia and Africa by now. In the terminal damaged most from Russian terror tonight, 60,000 tons of agricultural products were stored, intended for shipment to China, Zelensky said. The regional governor reported that at least 18 people were injured in the early Thursday morning strike on the port city of Mykolaiv, and an official in Odessa said that 2 people had been hospitalized after a strike caused a fire. The Ukrainian claims could not be confirmed by Reuters' own investigation. In what appears to be a coordinated effort to justify any attacks against civilian ships in the Black Sea and lay blame on Ukraine for these attacks, according to White House National Security Council spokesperson Adam Hodge, Russia has laid additional sea mines in the approaches to Ukrainian ports, according to information obtained by U.S. officials. The U.S. claim was met with silence from Russia. Demands applied by Putin. The United Nations and Turkey brokered a grain deal, and Russian President Vladimir Putin has accused the West of perverting it. On Wednesday, the International Monetary Fund warned that Russia's withdrawal from the deal could lead to higher food prices, especially in developing nations. Putin stated that if Moscow's conditions were met, Russia would immediately return to the pact, allowing for greater food and fertilizer exports. The West sees this as an attempt to use food supplies as bargaining chips to ease financial sanctions that have not prevented Russia from selling food. Battles raged on Wednesday away from the ports as Kyiv's counteroffensive tried to reclaim territory occupied by Russian forces in eastern and southern Ukraine. The Russians are now entrenched behind a heavily fortified front. The United States Department of Defense, DoD, made an announcement in Washington, D.C., that the United States would be providing an additional $1.3 billion in security assistance to Ukraine. EU foreign ministers are scheduled to meet in Brussels on Thursday to discuss a plan to provide Ukraine with up to €22 billion, $20 billion, in military aid over the course of 4 years.